What's that? Y'all hear that? It's a key. I wonder where this one leads. Alright guys, I'm taking the key and putting it in the lock. Let's find out where it leads. Whoa, that key brought us right here into the Binge Zone. Hey guys, welcome to the Binge Zone. Shalana here, and on today's video, we're going to be talking about the Netflix original series Locke and Key, breaking down the ending, the characters, some of the themes, and most importantly, we're going to be looking at the keys from this season, describing and breaking down what each key that we've been introduced actually does, its abilities, and then we're going to think about the possibility of the keys for next season, because there's a lot. So let's just dive into a brief synopsis of Locke and Key and break down what the overall theme of the show was about, because Locke and Key deals with locks and keys. So what happens if you take a key, put in a lock, and you open it? It opens things up. So the overarching theme of Locke and Key is about opening up your door to a new adventure, opening your life up, opening up your heart, opening up your everything into something new. Because think about it, the Locke family moved from Seattle, Washington all the way to Matheson, Maine. We're talking about one edge of the country to the other, and they came from a real traumatic experience where their father was killed, a husband was killed, and now they're just uprooting their lives and going somewhere else. Think about the repercussions of what that does to a family, children, teenagers, kids, wives, that they have to not only uproot their life, they lost their father in a tragic accident. That is major. So of course, every family member kind of shuts into themselves. You have Tyler, who shuts into himself, Kinsey shuts into himself, the mom shuts into herself. So we have all these people who essentially close the doors of their souls and their minds and their hearts from each other as a way of a defense mechanism. But then by the end of the season, they all open up to each other, they become friends again, they start to love each other again, and they actually love Matheson. And that's the beauty of Locke and Key, because we're not just opening doors and houses and portals to other dimensions, we're also opening up characters, we're also opening up their hearts, their minds to move past the tragedy, to embrace life, to reinvigorate everything that they've lost when the tragic loss of their father. It's all such a great theme that encapsulates the entirety of the season. I really enjoyed it. I thoroughly liked the fact that, Locke and Key, Locke, open up, all that was tied into the show beautifully. But without further ado, let's dive into what the keys do. Because this season we're introduced to many keys, not like the key I was using to open up the door into the Binge Zone. No, these keys do stuff that are way more crazy, way more powerful, and way more out of this world than opening a door into my living room area. So let's dive into the first key, which is by far my favorite key, by the way, and we're gonna talk about the Anywhere key. This key right here was the first key we're introduced to, and what makes this key so magical is that you put it into any lock, imagine where you're going, if you can picture it, open the door, and the key will take you there, sort of like a space-time teleportation key. And this key allows characters to travel around the world, anywhere, around town, at the blink of an eye. This is the key that Dodge first takes from the Locke family, because this key was what she needed to actually leave the well, because she couldn't physically leave there unless a key, such as the Anyone key, gave her access outside of it. So this is the first key we're seeing, and the key that we've seen used the most in this season. But it's not the most powerful, because granted, while teleportation itself is something that you would seem to be very powerful, there are other keys, such as the second key we're introduced to, which is the head key. Now this head key right here is so trippy, and that's because you take the head key, you insert it into the base of someone's neck, and you unlock their minds. Not some trippy unlock your mind Buddhist type of not some trippy unlock your mind to the sixth dimension type of thing. No, you legit open their mind up and you can go inside their mind. You can walk in there, you can see the contents of their brain, their memories, their feelings manifest. You can put things in there, take things out, such as when Tyler took a book, put it inside of his mind using the mind key, he knew all the contents of that book. And you can even extract concepts, like you can take memories out. In this season, we find out that Duncan, their father's little brother, lost a lot of memories of his childhood, and that's because Rendell, their father, went into his mind, took out his memories, and therefore caused him to forget. But not just memories, you can take out concepts and emotions such as fear. We see Kinsey go in there and remove her fear, which made her more self-confident, unafraid. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. You can trap people in your mind. You can extrapolate so many things. To me, this key is one of the most bananas and powerful keys you can have, because the mind, the human mind, is one of the most powerful things you can ever tap into. And if you have a key that lets you go in there, mind blown, literally, because you can put a bomb in there and blow someone's mind, but we're not gonna get into that. Let's talk about another key which I found pretty interesting, which is the music box key. Now this key opens a music box that comes out, a ballerina comes out, music comes and it plays, but that's not the fascinating part. The fascinating part is it represents dancing, making someone dance, and this music box key gives you control of another individual. While the music box is playing, you can say someone's name, visualize them, and they will move in accordance to whatever you say. As we saw throughout the season, as we saw twice in the season, as we saw during the season, you're able to control other individuals' actions against their wills and they can't stop it. You can make them get up, dance on a table, do crazy stuff, throw food all over them, and even if they don't want to, their hands just gonna do what they need to do if you do it in the music box. And that is another thing that's like, whoa. Granted, not as powerful as the head key, because you actually have to have a music box, turn it on and do all that. I feel like that accessory is a little bit too much, but if you can harness it and actually control individuals who are much greater a threat than a bully, for example, a principal, a president, a king, the possibilities of this box and the things you can make grandiose people, more powerful people do is kind of whoa. This key right here is another key that's very crucial. But again, that head key, man, that head key. Let's talk about another key. Let's talk about the mirror key. This key right here, not much is known about it. All we know is that this key unlocks a door to a mirror dimension in which an evil doppelganger of yourself resides. And there are plenty of other doppelgangers, but besides that, we don't know too much about it. So we're not gonna dive too deep into it. It opens a key to another dimension, a mirror dimension, and that's all we know. So let's hop on to another key. And this is the skin key. This key, you're able to take the key, put it right here over your neck, turn it, and visualize yourself as someone else, and you can actually change your appearance. Whatever appearance you think about and give yourself, you can become that appearance. It's like shape shifting, but the thing is, you don't have to do it. Someone else could put the key in you and transform you into somebody else. As we saw in the end when Dodge transformed Ellie into another copy of herself, this key is interesting because it allows you to actually become anyone you need to become and kind of use a doppelganger kind of effect. I found it interesting. It's unique. It's shape-shifting. Shape-shifting in itself is powerful, being anyone or anything you want. Kind of big. And then we have the mending key. This key is the key that the mom discovers. There's a cabinet in the Locke house. There's a cabinet in Key house. Whatever you put inside that cabinet, you put your key in, you close it, and you open it. Whatever you put in will be fixed. You can take this, for example, tear it up, put it in there, and it comes back fixed. I don't have magical keys, but it'll come back in one piece. No matter what it is, no matter what object you put in there, if someone's hurt, you put them in there and they come out healthy. However, it can't bring the dead back because that's beyond what this key can do. But anything you break, put it in there, comes out fixed, no matter what. And then speaking of bringing back the dead, let's talk about the echo key. The echo key allows you to bring back the dead through the key house well. You use it to enter the well of the key house and you think about the person and you can bring their soul back to the living. However, the echo of the dead person is now trapped in the well unless they get the anywhere key that allows them to go anywhere. So this key is kind of like bringing back the dead, but the dead is not living and they're not dead. It's kind of like a zombie of sorts, or no, better yet, an echo of that person. So therefore, that's kind of crossing the line of the metaphysical plane where you're now transcending life and going into the afterlife. The echo key is very interesting because once that echo is brought back, it can't be killed via normal means. In this first season, we don't know how you can kill somebody with the echo key, but we know that it can be done because Ellie said you can't kill them by normal means, but it seems that it can be done. Speaking of transcending the metaphysical plane, let's talk about the ghost key. This key was pretty interesting because this key opens a door in Key House, and when you step through that door, you become a spirit and your body dies. Your body goes lifeless, cold, no pulse, nothing, and your ghost is floating, and you get to travel the nether realms of the ghost plane as a spirit while your body stays there. But the interesting part is you have to re-enter your body through that same door and make sure that door is not closed. As we see when Bodhi did it, he was able to come back through the door. But when Sam does it, because they closed the door on him, he is now forever trapped a ghost in this metaphysical plane. And to me, that's wow. Like, these keys are to the point where you can bring back the dead, you can extrapolate a soul or a ghost from a body. It's transcending. We already knew they're teleported, they're mind controlled, and now you're transcending the metaphysical barrier between life and death. This is heavy, so let's tone it down to another key which is powerful in its own right, but not that metaphysical, and that's the match key. The match key is interesting because what it does is very simple. What is the most powerful weapon known to man? Fire. So you take this key, whatever you turn it into ignites into fire. We see in the very first episode, someone stabbed into themselves, turned it, and they combusted. You put it into a book, you turn it, it combusts. Whatever you put it into will combust. So therefore, the most powerful weapon known to man being fire at the tip of your finger, kind of like a overpowered lighter, which in the grand scheme of things doesn't seem that powerful, but think about all our technologies and everything man has able to accomplish, and it's due to fire. So that key in its own right has its own special abilities and is powerful in its own right. In this season, we're introduced to 2 more keys. So let's go with the shadow key. This shadow key, you take it, you place it onto the shadow crown, and once you place that crown upon your head, you can control shadows. They do your bidding, they attack people. These shadows, which shadows can't really do much, but when you think about it, everything has a shadow, and that shadow can follow anybody, do anything, and it's at the beck and call of the wearer of the shadow key. And the shadow manipulation in itself is very powerful. Granted, the shadows are weak to what shadows are weak to, which is light, so that's one weakness. But if you can control someone's shadow, like, imagine things you can do. Everyone has a shadow, so essentially you have access to anything, anyone, any object that is solid has a shadow, so you can totally manipulate all these objects in itself, and it gives you some immense power. Like, being a wielder of a key is beyond Omega. Like, this is crazy. And speaking of beyond Omega, let's talk about the Omega key, which opens the Omega door. What we know so far is that the Omega door houses demons from another realm. Because the other keys can transcend the metaphysical plane, it seems that the Omega key opens a dimensional barrier to some sort of demon universe, and every time you open it, the demons are coming out. So while the key itself doesn't do anything grandiose or powerful, opening the Omega door itself into a realm of demons is something that I find superbly unique and powerful, because demons in themselves are way more powerful than I thought. Imagine an army of dodges, demons who can't die even if you shoot them. They possess people, they do all of these things, and it's just like, all these abilities that she has, if they were to invade the earth, they would take over. So I guess what I'm guessing is the Omega key was used to seal the Omega door, and that is probably the first key that led magic into this world. Again, that's a guess from season 1. We'd have to see the next seasons. And speaking of the next season, here's a key I really want for next season, and I want to hear your guys' thoughts about what kind of keys would you have. A key that I'm really interested in is a time travel key. Imagine a key that unlocks time. Ghost key, spirit key, dead key, Omega key, mind key, time key. Holy shit, if you had these kind of keys, you are the master of the universe. And seeing as how these keys themselves so far in season 1 are super metaphysical and super concept, imagine controlling time itself. That's crazy. But guys, those are the keys from Locke and Key. Let me know in the comment section below which key was your favorite, because we all know by now the head key is my favorite, but I want to know what your key is. And if you could create any type of key, what type of key would it be? Let me know in the comment section below. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. And until next time, binge on.